harvest. When the harvest is good, often there is more than we can use. Prices go down and produce is given away or left to rot. We are fortunate to live in a place where food is so abundant. But when the growing season is over, it is difficult to get good quality and affordable produce. We can still enjoy the abundance of harvest by using foods which have been preserved by drying. But they cost a lot to buy and may contain additives not healthy to eat. There is a way to have quality all year long and save money by drying foods at home. Using an easy-to-build and low-cost solar dryer. This solar dryer was built during a one-day workshop at the Filipino Community Center in Fulton, Sonoma County, where open sun drying was already a tradition. But solar food dryers were something new. People are enthusiastic about the dryers. They say the food dried at home tastes great, and some delicacies, like marinated dried fish, usually aren't available at any price. Now raisins and other dried fruits have begun to replace sweets bought at the store, so children and grandchildren are eating healthier snacks. People are drying what they and their neighbors have grown in gardens and orchards, carrying on an age-old tradition of using the sun to preserve food. Now, the food is protected from insects and dirt in a dryer designed to do the job efficiently and easily. It's not complicated. The dryer is a well-constructed box with glazing material, usually glass or plastic, to capture the sun's heat. There are vents front and back to ensure enough airflow to carry away moisture from the food being dried. The trays are made of strong mesh or similar material that will allow air to circulate around the food. And with good sunlight, the food will be dry in anywhere from a few hours to a few days, depending on how moist the fresh food is, the size of the pieces, and the humidity in the air. Solar drying only takes the moisture out of the food. It doesn't destroy germs or other harmful substances. So everything that touches the food has to be clean and safe to use. Remember, the dried food can be only as good as it was before the drying process, so choose the freshest and best quality. However, slightly soft or bruised fruit makes a delicious snack called fruit leather. Before drying, foods except for herbs should be washed and dried carefully. Tough, thick skins and pits should be removed, otherwise peeling and removing seeds isn't necessary. The food can be grated, chopped, or thinly sliced with a stainless steel knife so the food won't become discolored. Before the food goes into the dryer, it can be treated to preserve vitamins, color, and texture. For example, sliced fruit can be soaked in a solution of 1 tablespoon lemon juice diluted in a cup of water. Some foods can be blanched quickly in steam or boiling water. A lot of commercially dried food has been treated with sulfur to help retain some vitamins and color. But there are serious health hazards associated with sulfuring. It's best to use other methods when preparing foods for drying at home. On each tray, food should be spread evenly, making sure there is enough space between the pieces for good air circulation. Strong-smelling foods like onions and peppers should be dried separately. Load the dryer early on a sunny day. Although many foods can be dried in direct sunlight, some must be dried covered. For example, herbs will have more flavor and vitamins dried this way. Meat and fish must be covered or else they will spoil or become so hot that instead of drying they cook. It is important to dry foods together that require the same temperature range. Herbs need the lowest, vegetables and fruits a bit more, and meat and fish the highest temperature. During the day, the vents should be opened or partially closed to keep the heat in the dryer within the range needed. When the sun has gone down or the weather turns cloudy, the food should be allowed to cool and the vents closed tightly to keep moisture out, or the trays should be taken indoors. To ensure even drying, rotate the trays. Turn the food on each tray about halfway through the drying process. When the food looks ready, it should be left to cool and then tested for dryness. If it is left in too long, it will scorch and lose flavor and vitamins. Fruit is ready when it doesn't stick together or feel moist when it is squeezed. It should be leathery and flexible. Meat, fish, and vegetables should feel a little bit drier than fruit. Herbs should crumble easily. After unloading the food from the dryer, an optional step is to pasteurize it to kill any insect eggs or larvae. This can be done in the dryer or carefully in the oven at a very low setting. Another option is to condition the food to make sure any excess moisture is evenly distributed. First, the cooled food is placed in a container not more than 2/3 full. It can be glass, plastic intended for food storage, or metal lined with paper. Then the container is closed and shaken twice a day for several days. If moisture collects inside, the food should be taken out and dried a bit longer. Storage must be done carefully so food won't mold or lose flavor or vitamins. An area that is dark, cool, and dry is ideal. The label should show contents and the dates stored. It's a good idea to package food in amounts convenient for serving, keeping strong-smelling foods in separate containers. Properly dried and stored foods can last for more than a year. Dried foods are delicious just as they are or prepared in many ways. Listen to this story. My wife and I went back home to visit relatives. We took along 10 pounds of dried apples we'd bought. From those apples we made pies for our family and friends. People were amazed to see the dried apples soak up water and become like fresh ones, which were much too expensive to buy. It was great. The apple pies were the hit of the trip. Everywhere we went, word had gone first. The dried apples and the pies were the talk of the whole visit. What a treat. Now we're planning another trip, but this time we're going to take the apples we dried ourselves in our own dryer. Now that's going to be a real treat.